I've been doing a number of different things. I'm living part of the time in the U.S. as well as in the U.K., so I've been getting reacquainted with my home country. I spent some time in the hotel business, which was very interesting and tough. I've been getting to know some smaller companies and investing and helping them out at that startup stage. So I haven't been exclusively in the travel sector, but I've been hanging around with slightly smaller businesses. I thought that the low-cost sector would take over the European travel scene, and I was right. What I didn't envisage was that there would be two main players in Ryanair and EasyJet and a number of other companies. I thought there might be a few more, and I know the folks at Norwegian and Wizz and other places might think they have a shot at getting as big as those two, but they really are dominant. But you know, at the end of the day, the fares are low, their cost structure is low, they can do it profitably. They will continue to take share in the intra-European market until the market equilibrates. So we'll see. The aircraft economics are the key to long haul, low cost, and every time I've looked at it, they don't work. But if the new aircraft enables them to do it, maybe they'll make it. It's just that the challenge is that you can never start up with enough frequency to be able to justify the marketing expenditure and the fixed costs on the ground that you need in order to make it successful. So the first problem was the aircraft economics. So if that's been sorted, great. But you still have fixed costs. So for example, if Norwegian flies to the US, they will never be able to break through in the media and the consumer markets. And so therefore they'll be selling the product very cheaply through intermediaries, and then can they get the yields they need in order to break even, etc. So you can see that it's just an economic puzzle that the pieces have not been formed in such a way that it's profitable yet. But if Norwegian can do it, great. I mean, you know, good luck to them. A low-cost business product, I mean, I guess it's a question of what that means. If it means special access on the ground to a quicker check-in or a quicker access to the aircraft, sure. But if it means more space on board the aircraft, not really sure how you do that. Because at the end of the day, if you take seats out, you put costs up. So low-cost airlines that expand the room on the aircraft, so they go from 180 seats to 150, you're immediately out of the low-cost game because your seat costs have gone up. So I think it depends on what you mean. If it means giving business people a little bit more of the privacy or the exclusivity that they're looking for, yeah, I can see how you could do it, or flexibility, etc. You know, in being able to change your seat. But if it means more space on the plane, I don't buy it. The big things that are happening in the airline industry is Asia. I mean, there is so much going on in Asia with both short haul and long haul, low cost travel, in terms of cruise ships, in terms of, I mean, and not for people from the West going to Asia, for Asian people taking cruises, Asian people flying within Asia, and that is very exciting. And in fact, some of my former colleagues from Go are involved in airlines in Indonesia. Another guy has set up a low-cost airline with Stelios down in Africa. Another one of my colleagues is running international for Royal Caribbean, and you know, they are now part of the next wave of innovation. So it's kind of fun. They've gone from Europe, and now that it's a bit old hat here and a very staid industry, they've moved on to the parts of the world where it's still really innovative. The Middle Eastern states have invested enormously in creating viable, strong, growing, powerful, airlines with enormous numbers of orders of aircraft, etc. So yeah, they're going to be very, very powerful. Is it going to beat out Heathrow? I don't know. I mean, I couldn't possibly. That depends on where the flows. I kind of doubt it, because you're still sitting in the middle of London. So your local traffic is still going to be very, very high value, and your transfer business is good transfer business, but the world is changing. So again, I would say be careful about losing the primacy of a Heathrow, simply thinking because we're Heathrow we can stay like this and be here forever. I worked out at Gatwick 15, 20 years ago, and we had great hopes that it would be the replacement for Heathrow, and it's a good airport, and it's always been a good airport, but the transport links into London are still not good enough, frankly. And you look at it and you say, well, there still isn't enough business traffic right in the local area to give it the same profitability for an airline as Heathrow. And again, Stansted, I worked at Stansted almost 20 years ago, no, 15 years ago, and the rail link was not good enough. It still is not good enough. And it seems to me that those are the questions. If the government wants other airports to grow and to be a possible alternative to Heathrow, because we all know how many people live in that area, then where are the rail links? Really good rail links, like the Heathrow Express, not a chugga train that takes you up to Stansted. It's not good enough. So there are lots of different ways that one could tackle these issues. It just unfortunately costs money, and it requires leadership. So good luck. All along, I have been in awe that customers are prepared to allow themselves to be treated the way they've been treated by Ryanair. And what I've always said to my friends and family is, if it all goes well, you're going to be in great shape. If it doesn't go well, I told you so. So you had to go into the whole experience of flying with them in that way. To be fair, because of their aircraft being new and it's a well-run operation, they tend to be in good shape. But when it goes badly, it's horrible. So, maybe I don't think he's doing it because he's cuddly. I think he's doing it because he feels he has to.